you have to break so many different cycles, not just addiction. There's so much more that goes into it where it's not just the substance. It's the emotional stuff. It's the how you treat each other. It's having a safe space. It's like you have to change everything that you were conditioned with, the way that you were raised. You have to change all of that. And that is not easy. But I'm making it easier for my kids to parent their kids.
Welcome back to another episode of Till the Wheels Fall Off. I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
Today we're going to be talking about breaking generational cycles. You've probably heard about this browsing on Instagram or something one day, social media app, whichever one you prefer, and have seen something about breaking generational cycles and thought, I think that might apply to me. Some of this language feels familiar, but I'm not exactly sure what that means or how it's applicable. It's actually a really powerful concept, something both of us have experience with, and happy to talk about it with you today about how you can go about doing this in your life. Chances are, if this resonates, it's something you need to think about doing.
Yeah, we're going to talk about what they are, why it's so hard to break them, how to measure it, and something else. I had like 4 different reasons. We'll get into it.
It's like midnight here.
No, it isn't.
Just about. So
Matt's really off tonight.
Not here. I'm here, but I'm not here, but I'm here. You know, I'm going to do my absolute best and barrel through this.
I'm actually awake tonight.
That's scary. You're going to be up all night. Did you drink coffee?
I didn't. No, I had half calf.
Okay.
Like way earlier.
Not like at 8 p.m.
No, I don't know why I'm awake. It's really weird.
Well, I'm glad one of us is here.
Okay, well, let's get this. Let's take like 3 minutes to do this. Do you think you can do this?
I'll try. Hey, if you haven't already reviewed the show, please do that. Tell all your friends. We need to get the word out that TUFO exists, that Till the Wheels Fall Off is a show that can help people. If you're in a different group or message board, tell people to listen. Tell them that it's worked for you. Leave us a review. We're trying to shoot up the charts, the mental health charts in the U.S. especially, in other countries as well, so we can become more discoverable, not just because we want to do this full time, but because this stuff helps people. We believe in the things that we say. We believe it can help you too.
Yeah.
So if you haven't reviewed the show, please do that. Next thing, we've got a website, twfo.com, where you can learn about everything that we do. If you want to know who the hell we are, our story's on there. If you want to support us in some way, you can do that. We've got merch on the site. We've got sweatshirts and we've got
stickers. We've got rocks.
We've got recovery rocks. Recovery rocks are awesome. Sent out a bunch of these this week, actually. Thank you to everyone that's ordered one of these. It's got our logo on the front. On the back, it says, "Thank you for being my rock." It's a really, really cool way to acknowledge the journey of a spouse or partner, someone that's been through you with this deal. People in recovery oftentimes get tokens or tags or congratulations, but no one asks how the family member's doing. It's a really cool way for you, the person who's working through this and fighting like I am, to show I see you, I appreciate what you're going through as well. We've got a community as well, free Facebook community, TUFO community. You can check that out by going to the website. We've got a course. It's called Independently Strong. Our course we built with the help of Dr. Christopher Taylor, a licensed therapist. And it's an empower yourself course. It is a find yourself again course. It is a how do I make the next right decision in my life course. It is how do I find my confidence again course. It is not just the standard playbook on codependency. It is not just the standard playbook on addiction. This is the culmination of over a decade of us going through this, as well as the use of research like social learning theory that we're going to talk about today. That talks about how you break cycles in your life. How do I make changes in my life? Even if you're on the other side of addiction, if you're with someone who's been struggling, you too are wrapped up in this cycle and it can be broken. That doesn't just mean that you leave the relationship. It is not just for people who want to leave. It is not just for people who want to stay. It is for people that want to grow and change and be challenged. And we are here to do that with you. It is robust. It's like 10 modules long. Right now, we're still doing weekly community calls led by either Paige or myself, or sometimes both of us.
Yes.
And you can be part of those as well. You can get 75% off that course if you use the code Wheelies75 at checkout. That's Wheelies with an S, 75 at checkout. We've also got a sponsor for today's show, SoberLink. SoberLink has been an amazing sponsor of the show. From the very beginning, I guess I was always scared to get a sponsor because it's like, oh, they're going to limit what we can say and what we can do. They're not about that. And this is aside from the awesome product they offer. I just thank them for just allowing us to be us. I think that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what SoberLink is, think of it as the world's most high-tech breathalyzer. Might wonder, why are they talking about breathalyzers? Well, it can be used in a couple of really cool ways. The first one, if you're a guy like me and you're trying to rebuild trust in a relationship, you want to voluntarily show your loved ones, your therapists, your sober contacts, whoever, that you're doing the deal. It's a really great way to do that. You schedule blow. So you schedule a session that you blow in. It could be 2-3 times a day, whatever you want it to be. And you set up contacts on that as well. So if Paige is my contact, when I would blow in it at the office or something, because this thing's super discreet, you can do it from anywhere. It's remote. It will show, hey, sober. It's one less thing for my loved ones to have to worry about. And it's a great way for me to voluntarily offer that information to people. And it's got a 24/7 standby team as well. So it's not just like some algorithm that reads this stuff and spits it out and there can be errors. We all know how automation can work sometimes, right? It's not just automated. There are humans on the other side in an office looking at a computer that knows the difference between someone who's just eaten citrus or fruit snacks or any other stuff I see people say that sets off breathalyzers. They know the difference. That still cracks you up. People try that, right? Oh, all kinds of stuff, man. I had an energy drink earlier. Well, that will not set it off. Sprayed a cologne. Okay, well, you're going to blow again in 15 minutes. We'll see. It's great. It's amazing like that. It's got military grade facial recognition technology as well, and it's tamper proof. So you can't trick the system. There's no getting around this. This thing is basically foolproof. It can be really, really valuable way to rebuild trust within a relationship or a family unit. Another cool, I think, aspect of this is the family court system. Within a custody agreement, let's say that you are separated. Let's say that you're divorced. Let's say that you have kids together. You want to make sure your kids are going somewhere safe. You want to make sure that they're around someone who's of sober mind. If something were to go wrong, you need to be able to trust that your partner, whether it's a co-parent or whoever, that they're in good hands. And this will provide you that peace of mind. It is court admissible in all 50 states and in Canada and is trusted by over 200,000 people. It is considered the gold standard in court. Attorneys trust it. Judges trust it. It is excellent. It is great to use. I don't think if I've ever found myself in this situation, and I hope I don't, this is what I would want. This is what I would want to know, is that there's something like this. SoberLink's been incredibly generous, offering our listeners a $50 off coupon. If you go to soberlink.com/wheels, you can get that. Again, it's soberlink.com/wheels. We'll take you to a website, enter your email address, and they will mail you the coupon. And then you sign up and let them know that we sent you. So thank you to SoberLink. That's probably like 5 minutes. I did my best there.
Good job, Boo.
Yeah, we used to do like recorded ad reads, and I never liked those when I listened to shows because I always liked the kind of the bullshit time you get back and forth with the creator, whoever's making the podcast. Yeah. So I don't know if I'll ever do recorded ones.
It might happen again.
Unless we ever have some producer some days, like you just have to do this and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway. Okay. On to breaking generational cycles
or curses.
Yeah. Curses if you're superstitious.
Yeah.
If you believe in curses.
Okay. So what are they?
All right. So these are generational patterns of behavior that have been passed down. These can be beliefs. These can be coping mechanisms. These can be ways of communicating. Some of them are intentional. Some of them are totally subconscious. Some of them are actually passed down. They're genetic, as we'll get into. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting, though. They can be cultural. They can be emotional, financial, relational, or even tied to your health.
Yeah.
Yeah. So generational cycles, I think that we're all sort of familiar with the idea that you come up through a family unit and you learn certain ways of operating, and those follow you throughout your adult life. Mm-hmm. Some of them are great. Some of them are not so great.
Yes.
Whenever we get married, these things become very apparent. Whenever we become parents, these things become even more apparent.
Ain't that the truth?
And as we go through life and we change, sometimes what we realize is that these things are no longer serving us. What once could have been a source of pride is no longer, and we realize that it's holding us back. But by this time, you're usually midlife, like you're in your 30s or 40s, and you're wondering, well, what the hell do I do about it now? Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
We talk about addiction a lot on this show, and addiction, if you've broken addiction, my guess would be that you have also broken a generational cycle in some way.
Say that. man.
I stole your thunder.
Took it
Sorry.
from me.
But it's likely the case. You can look at statistics on addiction, and oftentimes there is a genetic component to this. Now, it's not to say that just because you have a genetic component that you will automatically become an addict. That's not true. Your environment unlocks this, right? Nature loads the gun, environment pulls the trigger. But oftentimes there's a component there. And it's not just the fact that maybe you had a grandfather or someone who had addiction, struggle with addiction. Sometimes it's the behaviors that you grew up around. It's the environment that you were in. It's some of the behaviors that you watched. You watched how your parents coped.
Yeah.
And they had a drink, or they had, they were kind of loose with drug use in the home, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the culture around that stuff was very loose. And so I know I speak for myself here, is that I just felt like that's how adults cope, man. Like, a big deal, you have a drink.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, it's not a big deal until it is.
Yeah.
Until it is. And then it's only in hindsight, it makes sense. You look back at it and you go, oh, I see where that came from.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about our personal lives here, with also respecting the fact that we love our families. Not here to bash our families or anything like that, but it will come up. It will come up a little bit.
Well, we have obviously, with what we've gone through with my healing, with your healing and recovery, like, we have broken some generational cycles. It's just kind of a known thing if you're in recovery, like you said.
Yeah. And addiction it's sort of the easier one to look at and say, okay, that's obviously, it's generational. We understand there's a genetic component, but what about some of this other stuff? Like, what about...
There's a lot of stuff.
There's so much that you might think are just personality traits, but if you deconstruct it enough, you'll understand that this stuff is oftentimes passed down.
Yeah.
This is generational.
Right.
Your mothers did this, your fathers did this, their mothers did this, their fathers did this, and you're doing it.
Yeah.
And that at some point you stumbled upon this show or some type of growth content and decided that you didn't want to be that person anymore. You wanted to break this, and you're fighting that battle right now, and we are so proud of you. And I hope that you get some clarity listening to this about what you're actually dealing with and how to go about it. Hope that you walk away from it feeling some sense of pride in yourself for at least challenging yourself to fight this fight, because it is not easy.
It is not easy.
Like, we're talking about unwinding a lifetime's worth of stuff, sometimes multiple lifetimes worth of shit.
Yeah. And not everything is going to get broken. Like, there will be things that we will pass down to our children unintentionally, but it's going to happen because we can't break everything that we want to break.
Yeah. As Gabor Mate says, we pass on the trauma that we don't heal.
Yeah. And we do. That's why we have to heal. We have to get through this stuff so we don't pass it on to our children.
Yeah. So if you're a parent listening to this.
Yes, this is a very important episode. I've been wanting to do this episode for a while now, and we just now finally have been able to throw it together and discuss it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to go through some of the examples. You already discussed addiction and substance abuse. Like, these are some examples of things that you want to break within your generational cycles. But there's also codependency and people pleasing. We don't talk about codependency too much here, but sometimes it gets brought up because it is a thing that can get passed down. Like, if you're prioritizing others' needs at the expense of your own because that's how love was modeled in your life, that might be a cycle that you would like to break. And the people pleasing. All of us have people pleasing tendencies, right? Like, I feel like I see it everywhere. I feel like almost everybody just has that in them. And we don't want to be like that because we feel like it's not the best person that we can be. We're not living authentically when we're people pleasing.
You're way better at this than I am.
What?
People pleasing.
Like, I'm a good people pleaser, or
No,
I'm better at not people pleasing?
You're better at not people pleasing than I am.
I think maybe on the outside I am, but internally I still have those feelings of wanting to please people. You have those, you don't want to. We grew up in a generation where we didn't want to disappoint our parents, right?
Do kids these days not care?
I don't know. Actually, I think our kids care because, like, our son will say things occasionally like, "Are you proud of me? Are you proud?" And I feel bad when he says that because I'm like, dude, like, I'm proud of you, but I'm not like throwing it in your face. Like, I don't know. Some people say don't tell your kids that you're proud of them anymore. Yes, that's a thing.
Who the hell says that?
It's a thing. I don't want to get into. That's a whole totally different topic that I don't want to get into with you because you're not going to like it. But yeah, I still have people pleasing tendencies in a way. I mean, I think we all kind of have that in us, but it's something that I've worked on breaking for a long time because I don't want to, disappoint people. But then again, there are times when I'm like, I I don't care if I disappoint you, if I'm living by my values. So,
And I think people pleasing too in the, let's just call it the Judeo-Christian Western context of service to others is modeled very heavily, especially in like you grew up in a religious home. This is modeled very heavily, being of service to other people. I think this is where a lot of this stuff came from for me anyway. Like my mom was real big about this stuff. She's always put others before herself to her own detriment a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And in some ways, I think that there's valor in that and honor in that, but then you see how far it goes. And so within myself, I wonder how much of this is that versus how much of this is just fear of not being liked.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I could totally unpack
these are my shower
with you
thoughts
right now.
These are my shower thoughts.
Well, I've thought about that too, because you do have this tendency. You used to not be as much as this people pleaser serving type of way that you are now. Like it used to not be that way. Like whenever you were using, you were more selfish.
Well, it's easy to be.
It's easy to be
when you're high as fuck all the time.
But I wonder if this was something that was actually in. I wonder if this was something that was actually always in you.
I've always been kind-hearted. I love making others happy. It makes me happy when other people are happy.
I've seen you do it to where you suffer because of it, because you lack boundaries.
Yeah, I feel like it's a privilege and it's an honor if someone asks you to do something for them almost, or like if you see the opportunity to serve others, I feel like it's your duty to serve others.
Okay.
And and I think that's great and all, but I don't have an off switch for it.
Right. There's no boundaries there.
No.
Okay.
Like I feel the need to over-explain myself a lot too.
Oh, we're going to get into that.
Like a good friend of ours, actually, by the way, if you haven't listened to the episode with recovery vows, we just did an episode with recovery vows.
Yes.
Eric Kennedy, good friend of ours, a great show. We just did a podcast with him. If you like our show, you'll love his show. Check his show out as well. But anyway, Eric had reached out and he asked if we wanted to go to this gala this weekend.
Yes.
And I was like, I could have just said no because we had stuff going on. He's like, if you guys aren't busy. And I offered up like this long explanation as to why we couldn't make it. And it's all legit, right? We've got.
Oh, yeah. There was no reason.
I've got to work all weekend and then we've got a dance competition Sunday.
Like we just don't have time for weekend things.
I feel horrible because I'm like, he did this kind thing and offered us this opportunity to go meet people and like be with him.
So you felt like you had to over explain yourself?
Yeah. Because I like, don't hate me. I still love you. Like, I don't want you to hate me. And so I offer this up.
So interesting. I'm like really getting into your head right now.
Yeah. So I do that a lot too. And I think that kind of goes into people pleasing. It goes back to like, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to be disliked.
Well, think about like a lot of the emails that you used to send back in the day, at your
like
work,
essays.
Like essays, paragraphs of explanation. It's like, TLDR, right? Too long, didn't read.
Yeah.
Like you really do over explain yourself. And I would love to know where that comes from and why you feel the need to do that. Because I personally, I don't feel that need. I feel like I can do a sentence, I'm good to go by. I've got boundary. Like I don't need to over explain myself as to why I can't do something or explain why something is going on, because it's not necessary almost. But then you're also one to say, well, you can't criticize me for something I didn't say.
Yeah.
But then you'll offer a lot more words, or you'll offer a lot more explanation, which is quite interesting.
Oftentimes, if there's someone who needs my help with something and I can't do it, is when when you
do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's when you do it. It's not.
I feel bad when I can't be of service to others. Kind of back to this one, like people pleasing thing. But I think some of this stuff is straight up passed down. I think this is a modeled behavior that I observed.
Which is a beautiful thing until it really does affect you or impact you.
I'm
like
dying
you
now.
are.
I got way too much stuff on my plate.
You put way too much on your plate. You don't know when to say no, and you don't have the boundaries. That's just it's just interesting. It's just we never really had that discussion. Like we've talked about it, but not like this. All right, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
The next one is going to be another generational cycle that needs breaking is unhealthy relationships. So choosing partners who mirror dysfunctional childhood dynamics. So narcissistic, emotionally unavailable, abusive. So if you were in a home that had unhealthy parents, you may normalize unhealthy behaviors in your own relationship.
Yeah, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll seek, even if it's crazy, and you could look at it on paper and say that doesn't seem like a comfortable environment. It feels comfortable to us because it's all we've known. And so oftentimes what we'll do is we'll go find partners that feel comfortable to us that are oftentimes the very same patterns of behavior from our youth that didn't serve anybody.
Yeah.
But it's comfortable. That's why they say like you end up marrying your mother or you marry your father.
Dad.
It's because it's comfortable to you because that feels comfortable.
I don't feel like we did this necessarily.
No,
I
unlike
really
my mom.
don't think that we did this. I mean, I have said that you're a lot like my dad in some ways, probably like just when it comes to like work and the ethics and stuff like that. Not other ways though. Like I'm like, no, you're not like my dad. But I don't think that we really had that necessarily, but we were together so young, so it's hard to really tell.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of relationships and I've heard from a lot of listeners that will call themselves out on this one.
Oh yeah,
and they'll
for
say,
sure.
like I basically married exactly what I left home to get away from. And it was like, I couldn't even help it. It just felt comfortable. Like I felt at home in that toxicity, you know, and that is very much generational.
But do you feel like, have I ever been too hard on you to where it felt like it was more comfortable for you because I was hard on you based on the way you were raised?
I don't think that's, I don't know. I think that the way that I'm wired anyway, it's just me, probably not relevant for listeners, but for the way that I'm wired, I do really well whenever I get tough love. I do well with tough love. Yeah. And that went on in my home. But it doesn't for my brothers, right? So I got a brother that doesn't work that well for.
Right.
So I think I just happened to be that way. I think that I just responded well to that. I don't know if that's from like coaching in youth sports and just how the way things were in the 90s or what.
I wasn't like, I'm not like super tough love. I think I'm got a good balance.
You have a great balance of it.
Tough love.
No, you got a good balance of it.
All right. The next one is going to be toxic masculinity and emotional repression. So being taught that expressing emotions is weak or that men must always be strong and dominant.
Yeah, and this goes both ways too. I know this one says toxic masculinity, but I think this can go for men and this can go for women as well.
For sure.
I know for a lot of guys, I speak for myself, that you know men are supposed to be stoic and strong, and you don't talk about your emotions, you don't talk about your feelings, and this stuff is passed down. This is like you think back, like grandfather was like this, dad was like this, I'm like this, my son's going to be like this, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy at some point. You're right, because it's the only way that you know how, and you don't know how to break out of that mold. And even if you know it's not good, I mean, you can look at suicide rates with men right now. This is crazy. I was reading this the other day. About as many men will die this year of suicide as women will die of breast cancer.
Yeah, I said that too.
And there's a lot more information and there's a big push and movement to make breast cancer awareness, and as there should be, right? It's a deadly disease, tragic thing, but there are many more men out there. There are just as many men out there that are dying of suicide every day. And I can't help but think that this is behind it. There's some component of this behind it.
You think because they haven't been able to express themselves?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the society has shifted recently within the past, 20 years from the hardcore toxic masculinity.
I think it's a lot
to
more recent than that, honestly. I do. I think that this is probably more like in the last 10 years or less. 10 years or less. Like probably the last 5 to 7 years, it's become a conversation where boys and men are given space to talk about this kind of stuff. I think that, and this is a totally other episode about,
I know we're getting into
the issues that boys and men
things.
have, but boys and men often aren't seen as having problems. They're seen as the problem. And I think that's a Chris Williamson quote. Could be wrong. He might have picked it up from someone else. I think that's where I heard it though, but it's really interesting to think about. And that's how a lot of young boys and men feel, is that I don't have problems. I am the problem. I can't talk about my problems because I am the problem. Who am I supposed to talk about my problems with? Because it's just going to be thrown back at me or used against me. And it's difficult, but we need a space to talk about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it is generational, kind of back to our point in this episode, the stuff that's, cyclical, the stuff that just passed down from one generation to the next. Yeah. At some point you have to stand up and say, in our home, son, we're going to talk about our feelings. I got to talk about this with our son all the time.
I was going to bring that up. Like we've had to make some shifts within our parenting with our son though, too, because you were raised pretty hardcore.
My dad was the kind of dude that I think I've only seen him cry a couple times. I think that I've only really had some serious emotional conversations with him a handful of times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really had to pry to get that out of him. But he was raised by my grandfather, product of the Depression and everything else. Like this guy was hardcore as they came.
Right.
Never talked about anything. It was hard work, shut up. He was stern. He was stiff. And my dad was a lot more emotional, but had to repress a lot of that stuff. He's always been a more emotional person, but he had to repress a lot of it. And it was just, that's how he was taught.
Yeah.
And he didn't know how to express himself, even when he wanted to. And that's the danger in it, is that if you don't teach this stuff young, if you don't break this cycle, then they're not going to be left with any other outlet. And sometimes that's like they end up hurting themselves because they don't know what else to do with all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we talk about addiction and whatnot too. Like, 75% of substance users or substance abusers are men. And I think that there's probably some component of that going on here too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of men who just don't know to speak up. And it's like, well, when I take drugs, I feel better. I'll just keep doing that.
Yeah. And it numbs you.
I'm not saying that talking about your feelings is going to cure the addiction skew on gender or anything like that. No. But I think that there's some component of this for sure. 100%.
Right. But we tried to teach our son to have an open home with your feelings, and we want to talk about it. We want to discuss it. It is not, but there's also a healthy level of rub some dirt on it type situation, whenever you're hurt or whatnot, it's like, all right, but what are we going to do about it? How are we going to fix this? Or, let's snap out of it.
Yeah. And for me, that's always been more contextual, situational. It's not just like men don't talk.
Yeah.
It's like, boy, shut up right now. Like, you know what I mean? It's like in this instance, like you need to I know your knee hurts a little bit, but like, hey, come on, man, get it together.
All right. There's a balance.
Yeah.
It's a balance there. But I think that's been challenging. That's not
a male thing. I do the same thing with Sid, do the same thing with our daughter.
Oh, yeah. But she's so tough. It's crazy how tough she is.
Yeah, everyone's a little bit different on this. But
our son is not as tough as her when it comes to
I
being
think,
hurt.
Like in the terms of toxic masculinity, right? That term, toxic masculinity. I got opinions on it. Anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot. That's a whole other episode.
But emotional repression, I like that better.
Yeah.
That this is taught, this is passed down, this is modeled for other generations. And if you're someone who's like me, if you're watching this with a spouse or somebody, and you're on the other side of this, like a big part of your recovery is going to be exploring this part of you that you've probably never dealt with. And it's going to be really uncomfortable. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for doing this. I know it's not easy. I know it's tough, but it's not just important for you. It's important for your kids.
Yeah, we'll get there in just a minute about the kids.
Yeah, it's really important for your kids to be able to talk about this stuff too. And it's your job to model that it's okay. It's your job to model guys have feelings too. It's your job to model it's okay to break down every once in a while, man. It's all right. It's okay.
Our goal as parents is to make sure our children have a safe space, a safe place to feel their feels.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean?
I thought you mean like safe spaces, like just safe spaces in general. Like, no, the world's a cold, dark place sometimes. I want you to be resilient.
No. I mean, like, be able to talk to us about things.
Yeah, I want
and be open and
yeah.
emotionally safe with us. That's what builds up self-esteem in children, is to be able to have somebody they can depend on whenever they feel sad or angry or off. That's what's important with being at home with us, is like we create that safe space for them to come to talk to us about things.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about what you're thinking.
Yeah, no, like I'm not trying to just shield them from like facts of the world. I want them to know. Yeah, we want them to know.
We are very real with them.
It's okay to talk about this stuff.
Yeah,
you can always talk about this stuff.
Yep. All right. So the next example of generational cycles that need breaking is generational trauma and PTSD. So unhealed wounds from past abuse, there's war, immigration trauma, or family loss impacting future generations. This is a good opportunity to talk about that.
This one was really, really interesting to me.
So interesting.
I did not know. I'd heard this, but I didn't know it was like true in the sense that you can genetically pass down trauma.
Yes.
So they've done studies. It's called epigenetics and intergenerational trauma. So you can read about it. There were studies that were done on Holocaust survivors and their children. Epigenetics, think of it like you have a book, right? And the book is your DNA. And then you put those little sticky notes
like
on like certain pages you should read. And that's how your body reads which DNA it's going to use. It turns on and off, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you've gone through incredibly stressful periods of time, like extreme poverty, slavery, war, abuse, whether that's physical or emotional, your body can turn these on and they get passed down to your offspring. So offspring of Holocaust survivors were also overly hypervigilant as compared to other people. And so we can actually pass this stuff down.
But can it be changed?
Yes, it can.
It can be rewired.
The process of rewiring and neuroplasticity, neuroscience. Luckily, it can be passed down. But you have to heal from it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it can be changed. Even if it's passed down, it can be changed.
That's important. I really wanted to make sure that we, share that this can be changed.
It can.
Just because it's a genetic component doesn't mean that it just is in you. It might be difficult to change, but it is possible.
Yeah, but it's crazy to me that there is an actual biological component to stress and trauma that can be passed down to your offspring.
I want to say they talk about this in The Body Keeps the Score, but I have not read that book in a long time. It's on our website.
Just based on the title alone, it sounds like they definitely talk about it.
Yeah. It's a hard read, but it's a good one.
Yeah, but it can be changed, but it can also be passed down. So it's something to be aware of as you think about it, and not just in your kids, right? If you have kids that are older and have already witnessed a lot, they're kids now. We're talking about generations, not just your direct offspring, but generations later. That's what's so powerful about the work that you do.
Yeah.
In conversations like we're having every single week on the show is that you have the opportunity to stop this shit now.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have a short life, so you got to do it now. Don't wait too long. Oh my gosh. All right. The next one is going to be a poverty mindset. So growing up believing that money is always a struggle, success is for other people, or that financial security is impossible. Yeah.
There are a lot of people that grew up in poverty feel like there are people that good things were intended to happen to, and then there's them.
Yeah.
And then there's them, and then there's us. And it can be really hard to break from that. It's ingrained in you to some degree that you don't deserve more.
Yeah.
And it's almost this sense of like learned helplessness where it's like, can't win, don't try. But that's not true. Is it difficult? Hell yeah. But it is possible to break free from that.
All right. Lack of emotional communication. So being raised in a we don't talk about our problems household, which leads to bottled up emotions and avoidance. I think a lot of us have experience with that. This is what we were just talking about.
Yeah. And this can present in a few ways. Sometimes families just don't get personal. Like there are some families that they don't talk. They just don't talk at all. There are also other dynamics where if there's like an abusive person in the household, let's say there's an abusive father. It's pouring outside.
It is.
Let's say that there's an abusive father, right? And then the mother, in response to that, doesn't want to rock the boat, doesn't talk about it, tells you, don't talk about it. We don't talk about what happened last night. You're sort of instilling this idea that we don't talk.
Yeah.
Even if she would love to, that's kind of how this stuff happens.
Yeah, but then it can go the other way where there is oversharing to where like the mother might be communicating with their child.
Are we talking about like emotional incest?
Yes, I am. I wasn't going to say that, but yes, that's what I was talking about.
That's an episode we got to do at some point too.
Yes, parentification.
Yeah,
as
parentification
well.
Of children, emotional incest.
We'll get to that in another episode. I actually need to write that down because that's one that we've wanted to talk about.
Yeah, got experience there.
Yes. So there's a fine line there to where you can have certain conversations with your children, but also like not talking about it or talking about it too much. It can go too far.
Yep.
The harsh parenting and the physical punishment, normalizing yelling. So I come from, hold on, I'm writing something down real quick. Okay. So I do come from a home of yelling, I guess. I don't really know if my mom yelled that much. She wasn't much of a yeller, but was my mom a yeller?
Man, when I think of yelling, I'm not thinking of like your family really. Y'all are loud people.
We're very loud.
But not like yelling.
You used to tell me that you would divorce me if I kept yelling. Legit.
So loud.
Dead ass. Your ass would tell me that like that was the one thing you would divorce me over because I was really, I know why that's a trigger for you, but I'm a loud person. I do come from a loud family and I guess I do yell sometimes and it's something that I've really tried to break, but I know that it's very harmful for people around me.
Yeah.
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 That's what I want to say.
Harsh parenting. I think that whenever we have kids, I'm going to speak for everyone here that we want better for our children than we had. And that can come in a multitude of ways. That's not just financially and being better off. That's a better environment to be raised in. That's healthier coping skills. That's healthier parenting and communication styles. That's, if you had like, intense physical punishments, like I'm not doing that to my kids.
Fear-based discipline.
Yeah, fear-based discipline. Things like that, right? We all have our own philosophies on these. I would wager that you're probably looking to do better than your parents did. Some improvement, a 2.0 version, Mark II version of whatever you dealt with.
That's what my mom always told me that she wanted for me, is to be a better parent than she was.
But here's what notice is, think about it. Okay. Has it always been easy and has it always been true? The answer is probably no, because you only know what you know.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you become a parent, as much as you don't want to do these things,
sometimes
your default pattern is often exactly what you grew up with.
Right.
That's what we're saying here. That's what we're looking at.
That's what we're looking at.
That's evidence of this stuff in your life.
Yeah. And it's breakable.
It is. It takes a lot of effort. You're going to have to call yourself out on it, but it is breakable.
Yeah. All right, the next one is going to be health neglect and poor lifestyle choices. So generations of obesity, poor nutrition, ignoring mental health issues because we don't go to doctors. I mean, we see this a lot where people have grown up in homes where, they drank a lot of soda or, they had fast food all the time. And when they become parents, they're like, I really want to break this. But it's kind of difficult for them to break because that's something that they were raised with. That's why we're really big on trying to teach our kids healthy habits. You and I came from two totally different households when it came to food.
Yeah.
I came from
the fast food house.
Fast food, frozen dinners, junk food all the time. Like you got access to anything. We didn't have sodas growing up. We had home cooked meals every single night. It was very rare that we ate out. And of course, whenever I left the house, I ended up going balls to the wall and eating a shit ton of fast food. But I don't drink sodas or anything like that. Like my mom did a really great job at that. And that's something that I try to instill in our kids. And I'm being called an almond mom these days, which is bullshit.
Crunchy mom?
No, almond mom. It's a new thing. What? Crunchy mom is different. I'm more of a crunchy mom.
I'm laughing at how pissed you get when they call you this.
Oh my God, because an almond mom is when a mom basically shames their child and says, I don't want you to be fat, so I'm going to make sure you eat right.
It's not about their weight.
And that's not what I effing do. It's not what I do. I want my children to eat healthy so that they can be healthy and so that they can have our daughter's a dancer. I want her to be great at dance. That makes a big difference in what you put in your body. We try to limit sugar. Big fucking deal. Like, why is that such a bad thing that I try to limit trash food in our house?
No, I'm convinced that our food supplies essentially become like just biochemical garbage.
Oh, it is trash.
There's nothing wrong with eating whole foods and exercising.
But think about how you've had to break how you were raised with your eating habits growing up and as an adult. It's been difficult for you.
I think part of it too goes back to when we talk about eating and health and fitness. A lot of it can be comfort eating.
Yeah.
That's a habit that you'll see in families. That's how a lot of this stuff starts. That's how a lot of obesity really gets going. It's not all just genetic, right? A lot of this is habitual. This is patterns and it's behaviors. And it's when we get uncomfortable, we eat.
Yeah.
When we're sad, we eat. When we're happy, we eat. And that's what we do. This can be cultural as well. I'm a big Sopranos fan. I've seen it in the show and many movies to know that Italians, that's what they do. That's how they celebrate,
Yeah.
But you can also look at like rates of childhood obesity right now, and they're out of control.
Yeah.
It's important that we're modeling behaviors for our kids. It's important that we're breaking this stuff and acknowledging it now before it gets too late.
All right. The next one is going to be religious or cultural guilt. So staying in toxic situations out of obligation or shame rather than personal growth and well-being.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier, just about some of the behaviors that come with some of the, like just religious values.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not saying that any of them are bad. I'm just saying that they are, and maybe they're not serving you. That's up for you to determine, not me. But no doubt some of this stuff has been passed down, and then some of it can go extreme, and it's not healthy, and it's not what anyone consider good for the family or good for children or good for you even,
Right.
In some cultures, some religions, like physical abuse it just kind of happens and no one really bats an eye at it. It's just part of it. It's just kind of part of the deal and no one bats an eye. And that's just something that people do. Not okay. It is not okay. And so you feel this fear of pushing back against the generations that have come before you and laid those stones in the ground for everyone to walk on and saying, I don't like this. I'm not about this life. I don't want to do this anymore. And it's freaking hard and it's lonely and it's difficult.
Yeah, we're going to talk about why it's so hard just
to say, I don't want to be a part of this. I'm not okay with this.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you get to decide what you want to do in your life. And that's the beautiful thing about agency and being a high agency person. which if you're listening to the show, you are. We need to do an episode on that sometime too. What is a high agency individual? Because I think a lot of our listeners actually are. You're deciding for yourself what you will and will not tolerate, what you're going to stop right now, what you're not going to let the next generation struggle through. I mean, our duty as people who have the privilege of being alive today is that you are also partly responsible for what comes after you. You know, we're a very individualistic society and we're all worried about us right now. What does the individual need? But there's also like, we do owe it to our future generations.
I'm huge on doing things for my children.
What comes with them. This doesn't just mean like being custodian of the planet or anything else. This is like behaviors and ideas that get passed down within your own family units as well.
That's great. All right. So let's talk about why it's so hard to break these cycles. Well, we have to rewire everything, and we talk about rewiring the brain all the time. So think about you having to rewire your brain in recovery. Like that's one thing that you're having to do. And that's hard as hell as it is. So we're having to rewire everything else that we've been conditioned to do because our brain is wired for familiar territory.
We love comfort, man. We love the ease. Familiarity. It's the path of least resistance that we generally take. And it's just what's familiar. Not necessarily comfortable. Not that it's the best thing. It's just what's familiar.
What's familiar. Yeah, it's what you know.
Social learning theory. This is what our course is actually based off of. Albert Bandura observed essentially that people are products of their environment. It's simply that. Is that the environment that you grew up with is the one that you'll continue to display. It's that environment will go with you. It becomes part of you. Almost like a sequence of your DNA.
This is something that I've known since I was a child.
Yeah, but things get passed down unconsciously from your environment. So
for sure,
it makes sense that the family unit that you grew up in and whoever raised them, like in some ways, social fabric has its own DNA sequence and it's passed down generation to generation. This is how cultures are kept intact. This is how traditions are kept intact. They're passed down one to the next. But so is everything else. So are our ways of communicating. So are our ways of eating. So are our ways of talking and disciplining and everything.
Yeah.
Every bit of it gets passed down. You're undoing sometimes hundreds of years of cultural programming to break this stuff. And it's not easy. It goes against not just what you know and what your brain knows to be comfortable, but it goes against what your culture and your environment knows. So it's your people, places, and things, not just the way you feel. It's the other people around you that are bought into this system. It's the institutions around you that are bought into this system and that exist. It's every bit of it. And that's why it's hard to break. You're not just breaking a behavior in your home under your roof. It's everything. It's the individuals that you interact with. It's your family members. It's your friends. It's your modes of communicating. It's all of this stuff. And it's incredibly difficult.
Yes, it is.
It is like it's pulling teeth. You're going against every fiber of your being when you're trying to do this.
Yeah.
It's just so familiar to us.
Yep.
What else was on this list? Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
You went through everything without me having to go through it. But
sorry.
No. That's good. That's great. I mean, like you said, being familiar. It's also predictable. So whenever you know that something, even if it's if the cycle is harmful, it's predictable, and that's what your brain is going to prefer, is something to be predictable, even if it's harmful. And that sucks when you think about that.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I know this is harming me, but it's predictable, and that seems safer than to actually do something that's uncomfortable.
Sometimes the unknown is scarier than even the scariest thing in front of you.
But I think that the unknown we should embrace, man. I really do. But I get why we don't.
Yeah.
But like the family and cultural pressure to push you back, like that's just how we do things in this family. Or you think you're better than us now, or you turned out fine, didn't you? You know, we did all that stuff, but you turned out okay. You know how many times I've seen people on social media say like, well, I was spanked and I turned out fine. And I'm like, but did you?
Fair question.
But did you? I mean,
fair question.
And you just might feel guilty for setting boundaries and changing the behaviors that were once acceptable, you know, because your family accepted the way that you were, and you're going to start changing and you're going to start shifting, and your family may not like your changes.
No, your family's not going to like your changes.
Yeah, pretty much they're not. If they're still doing the same thing, and if they can feel like not that they control you, but they're the ones who raised you, right? So they think that if you're going to go against them, they're like, oh shit, you're going against me. So there's something wrong with you. This isn't right. This isn't how I raised you. But healthy families and relationships and parents and older parents will acknowledge the damage that they've done, take accountability and say, I'm proud of you for breaking these cycles. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. I'm proud of you.
That's the way it should work.
Yeah, it should.
Just generally doesn't. Generally,
no, it does not.
Generally, you become the black sheep overnight.
Yeah.
Think of a family that has been politically conservative for generations, right? And then suddenly you come out and you go to a university and you're progressive. Like, how do those conversations go now? Like, you're sort of ostracized. You're vilified.
Oh, yeah.
You become the scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
You become the laughing stock. They don't support you.
No.
And that's how this goes, not just in politics, is just a sort of a tangential example, but this is about how you decide to parent your children.
Yep.
That's going to cause issues with your mother or mother-in-law if you do it different than they did.
Uh-huh.
This is going to cause issues with other men in your life if you start talking about therapy culture or talking about your feelings, or if you came from poverty and you start talking about, you know, if you're I heard it recently put, if you're praying at the altar of cognitive horsepower, like in an effort to improve yourself, like people aren't going to like that. They don't like you trying to do better than them, dude. This is who we are. We are rough and tumble people. And I don't know who you think you are, Mr. Fancy Pants, Mr. College Degree. That's how you get treated. When you start setting boundaries, who the fuck do you think you are? You don't get to tell me what to do. I'm your mom or I'm your dad. You can't tell me that. You can't say that stuff. Those are the conversations you get to have. But let me tell you right now, they're fucking worth it. They're worth all the heat you take, every bit of it.
Yep.
That should be evidence alone that you're doing the right thing.
Well, weren't you told at some point that you were liked better whenever you were using than when you were sober?
Yeah, something to that effect.
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
Like
that I was... And what they were really saying is that I was easier to control,
right,
and I was more compliant.
Right. People pleaser.
I was more of a people pleaser. I was
You
more
were
compliant.
more of a people pleaser.
That's what it boils down to. It's compliance, man. People like it when you fall in line and you follow status quo. They don't like it when people break cycles. It's uncomfortable for them because what does it do? It makes them question themselves. It makes them question themselves. It makes them think of themselves and say, huh, I had that feeling at one point too, but I just decided to numb it out and not worry about it.
Uh-huh.
And here they go.
And here they go,
and
being able to
it.
have
And
the strength to actually break this shit.
Right. And it's easier to drag someone else down to your level than it is to rise.
Man, I hope that if I screw our kids up at some point, that they come to me and they tell me what I did, and I will listen and I will take accountability and I will give them their space and I will say, I'm sorry I did that. And no blaming, no like, well, that's just how I was raised, or I had this or that, or blah, blah, blah. You know, we're going to make mistakes, but I want to have that open conversation with our kids. If they ever come to me as an adult and say, look, this is what you did, I'm going to give them that space and I'm going to like reflect. It might hurt like shit because I am doing the best. I feel like I'm doing the best I can right now, but maybe it's not the best.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to own that.
It's a tough thing, and we should all be open to that. We really should.
I do. I believe so too. If you're making changes.
Man, this is the tough and sensitive part about this conversation. Like I mentioned, like our families, we'll be talking about our families, and we both love our families. I love my parents. I love them. I'm going to fuck up the same way they did in a lot of time, and in a lot of different ways. I'm going to make mistakes as a parent. You will make mistakes as a parent. I think Noah Kahn put it best when he said, I'm still mad at my parents for what their parents did to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to believe, I guess, in some way that they did the best they could with what they had and what they knew. And if you truly knew somebody, if you lived their life, then there's no way you could actually be mad at them for the decisions they made because you would understand why they made those decisions. Mm-hmm. Now, you could look at it, you know, several steps removed and say, I would do things differently. Sure, that's fair. And I think if someone confronts you with that, you should be open to hearing that. But it's difficult because we can look at all the things that are wrong with us, right? Like my mom used to always say, like, she would say something to the effect of like, you can tell your therapist about that whenever you're older. Mm-hmm. Whenever I was a kid and I'd be bitching about something, you know, like tell your therapist when you're older, I'll be paying for therapy for the rest of your life. Things to that effect. And the people have made, you know, you've probably said something like that to your kids, probably in jest, if I had to guess, probably kidding, half kidding anyway. But it's true. Like we oftentimes show up with what we know, and what we know came from the people that raised us and the people that raised them. Not all of it is our fault. I want to make that clear, but it is every fucking bit our responsibility. Every single bit is our responsibility. And that includes with what you just mentioned, that if one of our kids approaches us and say, you got that wrong, that I sit there and I own it and go, I should have done better. And I'm really sorry. There's nothing I can do to fix that. Yeah. But I promise you I'll be better. If there's any way I can support you through this or help you or help you cope with this or sit through therapy session, whatever I have to do, I'm willing to make that right with you. I don't want any parents beating themselves up because oftentimes you've shown up with what you knew. It's what you knew. It's what you were taught. It's what you knew. If you're a substance user, especially, like, I get it. It's complex. It's not so just always so easy. There's a lot of the reasons that we use, but they're every bit of them your responsibility. Yep. They're not your fault, but they're your responsibility. Every single one of them. And they were passed on to you like they were passed down to others without us being asked. We weren't asked permission. They were just given to us, These are just the facts. We can sit here and say, is it fair? No, it's not fucking fair. But it is what it is. We have to do something about it.
One of the hardest parts is that you will likely grieve the family you wish you had. Sometimes when you're letting go of toxic cycles, it means that you have to accept that some people are not going to change. And healing oftentimes comes with grief. And it's grief for parents who weren't emotionally available, for siblings who stayed stuck, for the childhood you didn't get. And that's a lot of the hard part of breaking cycles is the grief that comes along with it that people don't talk about.
Yeah, this is where it gets tough. Man, we talk about breaking cycles and making changes, and sometimes it just seems so easy, but the practice of it is so painful.
It is painful.
It is so painful. And this grief component, man, God, it gets to me. I've been through this. I've been through this, and I'm still going through this, and it's still pretty raw. So if I sound a little choked up, it's because I am. You will grieve the family you wish you had. At times you'll just say, why couldn't I just fucking go along with it? Why couldn't I just be okay with it? Why couldn't I just accept it the way it was? Everyone else seems to get along just fine. Why do I have to be the black sheep? Why do I have to question things? It's a blessing and it's a curse, but it's more of a blessing than a curse. I promise you that. Because on the other side of it is a better life for your children and their children's children. There's a reason we're doing this work, but it's okay to grieve it. It's okay to think about the times that you don't get anymore, about the happy family Christmases and all that stuff. It's gone. That stuff, it's gone. You will be the black sheep. You will have to grieve the loneliness and feel the loneliness of being sort of the outcast of a family unit whenever you start to fly in the face of their values. It's to be expected almost. And it's something that no one talks about. And every fucking meme I see about this stuff seems like it was written from AI. Because if you've been through it, like, it's gut wrenching. Yeah. It is so hard to process what it's actually like to break a generational cycle. You will grieve like you've never grieved before as you sit there lonely, questioning every decision you've ever made, questioning if you're just high on a high horse trying to prove a point or what you're actually doing. But if you're doing it for the right reasons, if you're doing it because that's what you believe in and that's what your values say that you should do, then you're doing it for the right reasons. You are. But it doesn't mean it won't hurt. It fucking hurts.
It's hard as hell.
It hurts, man. It comes with a lot of grief. If you don't have support, and you probably won't get a ton of it. I'm just newsflash. You're not going to get a ton of support whenever you decide to fly in the face of something that's been
not in the beginning. Not in the beginning. Eventually you may get support, but that could take years. Like, this is not a quick process. Breaking cycles is we've been breaking cycles since Matt, probably since we've gotten together. Honestly, if you think about it, we've really been trying to break generational cycles.
Yeah, I mean, part of it comes the grief of accepting that some people are never going to change and never understand where you're coming from. Yes. And you're always going to be just a leper to them. Part of it's that. And then it's also this component that you will have people that stay stuck and you're never going to be the same with them again. It's never going to be quite the same. You might still talk and whatnot, but you're never going to have quite that same connection. And you're going to grieve the fact that things could have been different if some people would have made decisions and they didn't make them. And you have to ask yourself, why did they do that? They had the information I have. What did I not matter? You know, did they not see it? What? It's just, it's complicated, and you will grieve, and it sucks. And this, like, kind of break it back to what I know best and what I'm most comfortable talking about when it comes to addiction. Families that use and families that party, whenever you decide that you're not doing that anymore, you want to fucking feel alone. You want to feel alone on a holiday, man. Try to be around those people who tease you and make fun of you. And it's tough, but you're doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it for every right reason, right? They're fucked up, not you. Remind yourself of that. Remind yourself why you're doing it. You don't want this shit for your kids. You know how bad it hurts.
That's what I want to talk about. We talk about how hard it is and how difficult it is and how sad it is and how it's just, there's a lot of grieving that goes along with it. But why is it worth it? Why should we do this?
I think first, it's, for me anyway, it was about myself. That sounds selfish, but it's not selfish. Hear me out. Because I had to love myself enough to know that I deserve this stuff too. I deserve these things. I deserve to live this life. And it's something that
it's like parenting yourself.
It is. You kind of have to parent yourself. Like, what would little me need, right? I need these things. I need to be validated. I need to hear this stuff. I need to be of sound and sober mind and be supported in it. And then it becomes very quickly secondary about my children. It's about my children. It's about my family. Maybe even more important is your family and your children, because guess what? If they're lucky, they're going to have families for themselves one day. They're going to be parents too. And the tools that you provide them are going to be the tools they use to build their home and build the way that they parent. And that's why it's important. We're talking about generations now.
Yeah.
And think about what a generation can affect. You know, like we're talking about, if you're talking about the totality of things, I mean, millions and billions of people. And we can have an outcome on the way that they see the world and the way that they interact with the world and the way they parent their children. It's hugely important. So if you're in an abusive situation right now, think about the kids that are sitting there watching that. Think about what they're being made to believe is normal in a relationship and in a home. I didn't want that shit for me or you or our kids. And so it stops with me.
Yeah.
I don't care how fucking bad it hurts. It's worth it.
Yeah. Like for me, it's always been about the kids, because I know that it can be really, really hard for me to go through all this stuff to make it better for them. It's always been about them, because that's what keeps me going, is to make sure that I can give them better than what we had and what you had and what they're going to have kids, and it's going to go down. I read somewhere, and I don't know where this is, and I don't you could cut this out and go in one ear and out the other from whatever I care. Somebody had said something that it takes 4 generations to actually break addiction within a family. And I believe that, because you have to break so many different cycles, not just addiction. There's so much more that goes into it.
Yeah, it ain't just the substance.
It's not just the substance. It's the emotional stuff. It's the how you treat each other. It's having a safe space. It's like you have to change everything that you were conditioned with, the way that you were raised. You have to change all of that, and that is not easy. But I'm making it easier for my kids to parent their kids, and we're going through a lot of hard shit to make that happen. Yeah. And I will do that for them. I will do that. People say that they would die for their kids. Will you break generational cycles for your kids?
Will you live for them?
Will you fucking live for them and show them what is healthy and what's important in their lives and how they can be, they can make better choices than we made?
Yeah.
And easier. It's going to be easier for them because we're doing the hard fucking work, because we know we're capable of doing it.
Yeah. Like, we haven't spared our kids from addiction. The verdict is out on that. They're young, right?
Yep.
But here's what I do know. Is that there might be a genetic component to addiction, but there's also a very large environmental component to it. And they've never seen mom or dad cope with the substance. They've never seen mom and dad come home shit-faced. They've never seen any of this stuff. They've never seen it normalized. To them, it is not normal whenever you're sad, you pick up a drink.
Right.
Whenever you have a bad day, you pick up a drink.
Right. Or lose your shit. Or whenever you get mad.
Or every time you go out to dinner, you have a drink. Or every time you party, you have a drink. It's just not normal to them.
No.
Those are the ways that you can kind of control this, but it bleeds off in layers over time. So yeah, it does take generations to completely rid this shit.
Yep.
But even then, there's still a genetic component.
But at least I can try as hard as I fucking can to try to, make it better for them.
Yeah. Did we cover Yeah, we did. Never mind. The identity crisis one. Did I talk? I don't think I talked about that when I went on that rant.
No. So I didn't go through what to expect yet.
Man, the identity crisis one is a big one.
Yeah, I wanted to go through that. You can talk about that.
You will have a bit of identity crisis because you're not, whenever you decide to break from who you were raised to be, you're going to have a really hard time coming to terms with, well, who the hell am I then? It feels like your whole life you were raised to be a certain person, and now you've broken from that. Then who the hell are you? Whose kids are you? Who do you belong to? Where do you feel safe? Where do you get support? Where do you get encouragement? Where the fuck are my role models? That's where it gets really tough. You have this sort of lonely period in life where you don't really know who you are. Yeah. You just you're floating kind of alone. But I promise you, if you stick with it long enough, you will find your people. But you will feel extremely lost in the beginning. This is like when we started a community, it wasn't just for people to vent about what they're going through. If you do that there, great. But this is what it was really meant for. It was for people going through stuff like this, where you feel alone and you need support for other people who are breaking curses. Mm-hmm. This is what it's for, because you need that support. You need that community help to be around other people who are going through it too, so that you know that you're not alone and there's someone else going through it too. And now you two have more in common than you do with your family of origin.
Yeah.
That's the crux of all of it.
I also want people to understand that shifting your identity or having identity crisis or whatever, that's pretty common throughout your life, throughout different chapters in your life. Like whenever you become a new mom, you're going to go through this because you're going to feel very alone. It's going to be, complicated. I just don't want this to just be one thing that like steers you away from doing this, because we all have issues with identity throughout our lives.
You go through your whole life is just taking one costume off, putting another one on,
Yeah.
as you change.
Right. This one just might be rather deeper than usual because it is having to question all of your conditioning and things that what you've grown up with. Yeah. All right. What's next?
We kind of talked a little bit about what to expect. We talked about some of the grief that goes with it, talked about some of this loneliness and whatnot, the isolation that you will feel, the resistance. I can't speak enough to the fact that you're going to get resistance from people. Very few people are going to be proud of you for doing this. Mm-hmm. Very few people.
Yeah.
You will have strangers that are more proud of you for this than your family of origin, more than likely.
That's true.
It will be strangers that applaud you. It will be random people that have also been through it that applaud you.
Yeah.
And you're also going to have
setbacks.
Yeah. Like, man.
Shit. Welcome to life with that.
You're going to have setbacks. It's not linear. Okay.
No.
If you grew up with parents that scream and yelled and you've decided, I've lost my temper for the last time with my kids, I'm not yelling anymore.
You're going to do it again.
You're going to yell tomorrow, probably.
Yeah.
All right. It's life. You're going to do better though. Okay. We're talking about like, I hate the term progress, not perfection, because I feel like people bastardize the shit out of it.
I think it went too far.
It becomes like just this saying for just failure's okay, and it's not okay. We should acknowledge when we fail and do better. We should.
Failure is okay, but like I think people stay stuck in this in the failure, and it's like that's it. That's all I'm going to do. Like
it becomes sort of like this little like silent clap for like bare minimum effort.
Yeah, exactly.
Where I think it should be applauding the continuation of effort and continuation of challenging and like
don't talk on it too much.
Challenging, right? So like you failed. Okay, let's go a little further this time and see how far we can get, right? Don't set yourself up to run 3 miles every day and then run 1.5 and say that's progress. Like you can't walk in a circle every day and say that you're on a journey. That's not a journey. Walking in a circle is not a journey, all right? We have to make progress. So to some degree, to say it's not linear, yeah, but we are trying to go somewhere. We're not trying to go back to where we started.
Yes, it's like this.
So progress to me, it's progress, not perfection. For me means you're pushing yourself beyond where you went last time. And if you come up short, it's okay. You got a little further. It's okay. You're not going to be perfect. That's okay.
Like, let's say that you do yell at your kids the next day. It's how you come back from it. Are you going to apologize to them? I sure as hell hope so. Anytime I do anything wrong that I feel like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that, I'm apologizing to my kids. Apologize to your kids, please. Anytime you fuck up, do it. It means a great deal. Anyway, as long as you're apologizing to them, then you think, you know what? Maybe have a conversation. Say, hey, I'm going to work on this. That's what I do with the kids. Like I'll find something that I know that I have a pattern of doing. like, I'm sorry, I'm going to work on it. What can we do? What can I do better to help you? Or what can you do to help me, like, make sure I'm doing this to your standards, right? To your standards. I do that with Sydney. But I'm still going to fuck up. We're still going to mess up. But you change it. The way that you react to it is what really matters. And then eventually you just, like, you're not doing it anymore. You're not fucking up as much.
Yeah, you will revisit old patterns. It's going to happen. It's okay. Just keep making progress. Keep trudging forward, not back on the circle, right?
Yep. Keep
moving forward.
We talked about why breaking cycles is worth it when it comes to kids, but it's also being able to create a life that's on your terms.
Yeah.
You know, you're not doomed to repeat the past. You can do what you want. Like, you get to decide what's acceptable.
Your life's not predetermined by your family of origin either.
That's empowering as hell, knowing that you have choices, that you don't have to do exactly what your family did. Yeah, it's hard, but change your perspective and, like, you know what? I can do this. I got this, and it's worth it.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh no, I have to do this. No, I get to do this.
Like, how empowering is that to think that you become the author of your own novel and you can write the rest of the story however you see fit. It doesn't have to be the one your parents did.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be one their parents had. It can be different for you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
In fact, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I hope it's different.
And sometimes what happens, and I don't think this is the norm, but I do know that it's a possibility. Sometimes your family might change because of you, because you are trying to change.
Possible, yeah.
And you're trying to break these cycles. They may hop on board with you and think, oh, wow, you know, let's do better.
Yeah.
You know, let's do better.
Maybe they didn't realize it's an option that we can do this too.
Yeah.
And it's also like sitting here, we're talking about obviously some of the negative aspects that affected your life. Not everything your family does is bad. They might have some quirks that are they're hilarious and they're great and they're awesome. And you don't want to see those things go away. We're not talking about everything, right? I think that I've seen enough therapy culture, Instagram type memes to know that basically everything is under the microscope and being looked at and could be considered traumatic or bad or negative. And it's just not true. Like some things that they're not that broken. Okay. They're just okay.
Right. It's not that deep.
You don't have to dig that deep in every fucking thing.
That's what our kid says. It's not that deep.
We're talking about we're talking about abuse. We're talking about not discussing your feelings and emotions. We're talking about neglect. We're talking about addiction. We're talking about no emotional connection. We're talking about harsh parenting. We're talking about some of this stuff. We're not just talking about,
which is deep.
We're just talking about the surface level bullshit that doesn't matter. Right.
Yeah.
Like, there's some things I just don't think are worth excommunicating yourselves from people over.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So let's talk about how to actually break a cycle. Okay. How is this done? What do we do?
We've talked enough about it. How the fuck do we do this?
All right. So the first thing you want to do is it's the self-awareness aspect of it. So identify the patterns in your family that you may feel are, I don't know, toxic. I don't really want to say toxic, but unhealthy. Something that you don't want to pass on to your kids. Maybe it's something that you don't feel aligns with your values. Write it down. Which ones do you repeat? Maybe it's unintentional. You know, maybe you're just doing it and you don't realize you're doing it. Write them down. Figure out what it is you want to stop or change. Therapy, coaching, mentorship, learning how to regulate your own emotions, setting boundaries, having healthier coping mechanisms. Basically, our Independently Strong course does this. We've had many wheelies that are in there that have learned how to break some generational cycles based on the information that we provide in that course, which I think is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. They're using it in all different aspects of their lives. It's pretty badass.
Was the intent of it. It's social learning theory. That's kind of what it's meant for.
For your life. It's not just because of the relationship. It's like all the things.
Want to change something, want to grow?
Yeah. Educate yourself. Read books, listen to podcasts. You're doing all this, find role models outside of your family. Find somebody you look up to that you're like, you know what? I like their values. I like what they're doing. I like how they're raising their kids. How can I become them? Ask them questions. They can mentor you. That's a great opportunity to look for somebody like, hey, I like what you're doing. I'd love to learn from you.
Yeah. My mentors and role models don't even know that they're my mentors and role models. They're my favorite authors, my favorite podcasters.
Yeah, but even if you do find somebody that you like, even out and about, maybe somebody who your kids are on the same baseball team or cheer or something, and you're like, I really like what they're doing. Observe.
Yeah.
Ask. See what it is they're doing. I'm sure they'd appreciate that. Or just let them know, hey, I like what you're doing there.
Yeah, just try to strike up a conversation beyond how's the weather. Start to talk about parenting's a really easy one. Like I can talk to pretty much any other parent about parenting. It is a shared, this sort of like shared struggle that we all have. And everyone's willing to talk about the way that they do things. And if you see something you admire, talk about parenting. You can learn from people. And if you'd probably be shocked to figure out there's a lot more people than you think that are doing things vastly different than the way that they were raised.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who have just, listen, they luck of the draw, whatever it might be, they were raised in a really healthy family dynamic. I think that most of the time, though, what you have are people who have made corrections and they've changed things and they've altered the recipe from what their parents gave them. And people like to talk about that kind of stuff because it's meaningful to them. It's helpful to you. Have those kinds of conversations with people. That's what you should be talking about during practice.
I fear if you're doing the same exact things as your parents, you're not growing or shifting because society changes, the times change and we need to kind of keep up with that as well. And if we're doing the exact same things that our parents were doing, or even their parents, or we're not really growing. We're going to stay stuck in a time that's not even relevant anymore.
Yeah, things change.
You think about that. Things change. Things shift. Okay, change your daily habits. Small actions add up.
This is where it starts, really.
What?
After
changing
the
your
awareness.
Yes.
How do you actually begin to change this? How do you put it into
action?
Little bitty daily changes.
Yes.
How do you eat an elephant? Right? It's one little tiny bite at a time over a long period of time. And before you know it, elephant's gone. Yeah. Before you know it, your problem is gone. Before you know it, you've made massive changes. Oftentimes, you're not just going to say, okay, let's say that you discipline your kids from getting reactive and hitting them or throwing shit or screaming or something like that. Okay, I'm aware that this behavior is no longer serving me or my children. I don't want them to carry this on. How do I stop it? First, become aware of the fact that I'm doing it. Okay. It's going to take you a little while to catch yourself while you're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be even harder to stop yourself while you're doing it. But I'm telling you, the freedom that you feel that you're no longer a slave to your first thought when you stop yourself and go, I was yelling, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to do this. Could you please go to your room and pick that stuff up? I'm not going to ask you again, or you're going to lose some privileges. And whenever they run up the stairs and go do it, you will feel so proud of yourself. It's little bitty changes like that.
Yes.
Right? It's little things like that. Stopping yourself in that moment. It's being conscious of it. Journaling is really beneficial here.
Absolutely.
It's a progress report of your life to see where you're at, how things are going.
We're going to give you some journal prompts here in a minute about how to measure all of this.
And if you've got a whiteboard in the home and you've got a quote to live by, I love maxims, these quotes or these little concepts that are distilled that have so much more meaning. Put those on a whiteboard, hang that up somewhere, put it on your mirror so that you remember it. That's what you're about today. If you're a tattoo person, get that shit inked on you. Get it somewhere where you remember it and you're conscious of it.
Yeah.
And then start to make the changes that apply. If you're trying to eat better, it's unlikely if you're eating terrible today and you've been eating 7,000 calories a day that tomorrow you're going to be eating a whole food caloric deficit, right? You go from 17 Dr. Peppers a day to like a handful of Coke Zeros or something. You're a brand trader. Maybe you go from Dr. Pepper to Coke. There's a Dr. Pepper Zero too. Actually, there's one in the kitchen. But maybe you do something like that, right? You can make these incremental changes over time and you can really get somewhere if it's really tough to make that big leap, especially with family systems. Man, you make a drastic change, all of a sudden they're going to be like, what the fuck is this about? They're going to pull back. They're going to freak out. But I don't
know. I'm really big on drastic changes though.
But I think with family systems, you almost kind of have to introduce them that way.
Oh, yeah, to them. But
you can have a general conversation about it, but eventually you're going to have to lay down the law and boundaries.
What matters is what you're doing in your own home, not how they're going to perceive that. Like, that's your external, that's like your extended family now. That's not your intermediate family anymore.
Well, think about family systems that are really enmeshed, you could say.
Okay, yeah, you're right. But, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When families get really enmeshed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gets a little drastic and it will affect your day to day, man.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to keep going. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. So find a community that supports the new you. That's always fun. Reparent yourself. That's what we talked about earlier. Give yourself what your childhood lacked. Embrace the discomfort. Healing isn't comfortable, but neither is staying stuck. So embrace it. That's why I was saying, like, change your perspective to like, I get to do this. Not like I have to do this or, oh, do I really want to do this? No, I get to do this. You get to do this. This is a really great opportunity for you to be the best parent for your kids so that they can be the better parents for their kids and so on and so forth. So I wanted to talk about how to measure this stuff real quick. So it's more of like, you can
gauge your progress?
How do you gauge your progress?
Like, let's say that, like we mentioned, like the small daily habits. Like, let's say like, listen, obesity will not be part of my children's lives. I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to start walking today. I'm going to start getting my steps or whatever it might be. Ooh. How do we normally keep track of that stuff?
Right.
You're going to need to record it somewhere. You need to hold yourself accountable in some way. This is why self-care posts are important, by the way. Harking on that once again. This is part of it.
Well, those have slowed down a lot, and that's because I haven't been in there posting my own. But you guys, I've been doing self-care for 7-8 years now, I guess, altogether. So I don't post it.
Want to see, that's what self-care posts are. I want to see what you're doing to break cycles. I want to find out. I want to hear. I want others to see that it's possible, and it starts with little tiny changes. I don't care if you feel stupid posting the selfie. How do you think we feel up here? Incredibly stupid. I don't care. It's helping. It's helping me. It's helping you guys. It's the reason we do this, right? You have to do it too. If we're going to sit up here and look like idiots, then you got to do it too. So post it.
Even though you don't look like idiots, you're inspiring other people to do the same shit too. Like, I don't know why it's so hard for people to do this. Just fucking do it. Please. Please. It's for you.
Yeah. And no one's going to care.
Nobody cares. It's such a safe space.
It's so much like, bigger in your head than it ever is. But like,
it's amazing.
Show up, be accountable, record this stuff. This is how these little changes turn into big ones.
To big ones. Yes. Okay. So one way to measure is like you're going to respond instead of react. So your old pattern may be exploding in anger, shutting down emotionally. Like I do that a lot. Avoiding conflict, done that too. I'm an avoidant type person. A new pattern is going to be pausing, reflecting, and choosing a response that aligns with your values. And I think that's huge. Being able to pause, breathe a little bit, think before you speak. And then to measure it, if you catch yourself in the moment and you choose a better response even 10% of the time, that's progress.
That's progress.
It really is progress because these things are conditioned in you. They are in your brain. Like they are like automatic. But whenever we can pause and we can actually think before we react to it, you're going to feel a sense of pride like you were talking about earlier. You're like, holy shit, I can do this. Like, I can really do this.
Man, the moment you get a taste of agency and you understand that like you can actually change, it is the biggest dopamine rush.
Oh my God. Is it ever?
So good.
It is. And it takes intention. It's being intentional. And a lot of people, we do things on impulses, which is what this stuff is. These cycles that we were raised with, it's impulse because it's in you. So change is intentional, and that's really hard. But whenever you do something intentional and it feels good, you're like, oh, this is awesome. I want to keep doing this.
Yeah.
It's great. All right. So the next one is going to be your boundaries are going to be clear and firm. So your old pattern, you might feel guilty for saying no or, people pleasing and tolerating disrespect. Your new pattern is saying no without over explaining, which is what we were just discussing earlier, and recognizing when someone is manipulating or guilting you and then enforcing consequences. So to measure it, write out, are you feeling less resentful in your relationship? Are you setting boundaries without as much guilt or fear? Like, how are you feeling when you start to do these things? It's going to feel uncomfortable when you start changing your patterns.
It's going to feel scary. It's going to feel lonely. People are going to push back.
But no, well, even then it's going to feel like, oh, am I selfish for taking care of myself? Like if you're a people pleaser and you start taking care of yourself instead of putting others first, it feels very weird. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But I'm going to tell you this now. If it feels that way, that means you're doing something right because you're doing something different than what you were doing before. And eventually you're going to find that middle ground of not necessarily people pleasing, but being there for others and for yourself. But you have to go one way. You got to go the other way first before you can go the middle.
Nobody's going to respect your time as a valuable asset until you make it more scarce.
Yeah.
By not offering it up all the time.
Yeah.
That's what boundaries are, man. I'm learning. That's why I said it out loud.
I love that. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. All right. So another one to measure is that your relationships are going to improve or they're going to change drastically. So Your old patterns may be staying in, unhealthy relationships, tolerating really crappy behavior, or, repeating the unhealthy dynamics. And your new pattern is surrounding yourself with people who respect and support your growth, people that align with your values, people who are going to be there for you. Measuring it by saying, do your closest relationships feel healthier? Are they aligned with your values? Have you distanced yourself from people who keep you stuck? That's a hard pill to swallow, but it's something that we need to measure and we need to acknowledge and we need to accept at some point that being in this toxic situation for a long period of time, we're not going to change. We're not going to grow. We're not going to be able to see, what the new pattern is going to do for us.
Yeah. What I have had to do is almost like every night I go to bed feeling resolute in what I'm doing to change. And every morning I wake up scared again. And then I have to convince myself throughout the day why I'm doing this, why this is important. And then by the end of the day, I'm good. And then I wake up in the morning and it starts all over again.
I feel like this is a form of insanity. We need to change the definition.
No, because I'm making progress along the way. It's just the emotional piece of it, kind of what you're talking about there. It's like that's normal. I just want you to know that I'm going through it too if you feel that way. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know. I hope not.
No, honey, it's normal to feel that way.
Because
it's normal.
Remember, you're unwinding years, eons of shit. This isn't like something that just showed up yesterday and you can just get rid of it easily. This is something that is ingrained in you. It's part of you.
Yeah.
It just doesn't serve you anymore. You have to remind yourself why you're doing it.
Yeah. Another one is going to be you're more aware of self-sabotage and you can stop it faster. So your old pattern may be falling into destructive habits when things get hard. So using substances.
And your old habit was also, this is just who I am. This is what we do.
Oh my gosh.
We
yes.
and like my family.
Yes.
Like, this is just what we do. Insert last name here. This is what blank. This is what we do.
This is what we do.
Not anymore.
Is it healthy?
Not anymore. It's not.
No, like emotional eating, avoidance, reckless spending, a lot of things that you may feel like this is just who we are. This is what we do. Ha ha ha. Let's giggle about it. But in reality, it's harming you and it's harming your children and it's going to harm their children.
Yeah.
So it's got to stop. So your new pattern is going to be recognizing the triggers and choosing healthier coping strategies.
Yeah. And this
it's about your reactions.
Yeah.
It's about being intentional.
Someone baiting you into a conversation. Like you don't want to model this shit to your kids. You don't want your kids just to remember people like it's a toxic household that was incredibly volatile and people freaking out. Like this can be like not taking the bait on some of those conversations, responding differently, reacting differently.
Yes. Yes.
Taking accountability for your part in a conversation and not responding the way you normally do and letting that shit go. You've just modeled healthy behavior for your children and for yourself. And you've done something for the home. It's less toxic now.
Yeah.
You stopped it.
I like how you said modeled good behavior or modeled healthy behavior. I don't think we really talked about that much.
I mean, that's social learning theory, right?
Yeah, for sure. You parent or you lead differently, which is what you were just talking about. You know, your old pattern could be yelling, shaming, and controlling.
Freaking out, taking the bait.
But now
guilty of it,
your new pattern, you're going to mentor with emotional intelligence and patience and breaking those old habits. And to measure that, do you handle difficult parenting moments better than your parents did? Do your kids feel emotionally safe with you? I was talking about that last time about how we measure parenting, and because we were talking about how different people, how we measure things differently.
Yeah.
And I was saying that, it's how my kids feel safe with me. That's how I measure all these things and what I'm doing and how I'm parenting. That's a really good thing to measure.
Yeah.
Are they emotionally safe with you? You no longer need external validation. So your old pattern could be seeking approval, your people pleasing, fearing judgment. Your new pattern will be making decisions based on your values and self-respect rather than others' expectations. I think we do a decent job at that.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at doing this with certain things. Other things, not so much. It's kind of weird. I'm getting better though.
That's part of it. It's like we might have strengths in one area, but weaknesses in another area. And it's kind of wild how that works, but that's how complex it is.
Yeah.
Your self-talk has shifted, so you're less negative inner dialogue, self-criticism, guilt,
asshole that lives in your head,
or perfectionism. See, I still have problems with this. This is something that I struggle with. is the perfectionism and the self-criticism. Your new pattern is a more compassionate, understanding, and supportive inner voice. I've been really working on that this year, though, because that was part of my resolution of focusing on your strengths and not your downfalls.
Dude, I got major pain living in my head, just fucking screaming at me all day long. Just mean as hell.
What is with that?
I don't know. And that's, honestly, like my parents weren't really. Like,
I came from a more critical home than you did.
My mom's super supportive of me. My dad's always been like,
yeah, you did not come. Yeah, you did not come from a critical home.
Oh,
yeah,
that shit came stock with me. I don't know where it came from, but
I probably had a part in that, honestly.
Yeah, you're major pain.
Yeah. Major
pain in my ass.
Damn, thanks, babe. Okay.
Love.
Next one is you take full accountability for your own life. So your old pattern would be blaming circumstances, blaming your parents or others for your problems.
Yeah, we ain't gonna sit around and blame our parents, y'all.
No, don't do it. Don't blame your family. They may have caused some issues, but guess what? Your new pattern is owning your choices and taking action regardless of what happened in the past.
Don't blame spouse. Don't blame family. Guess what?
No,
You've got agency.
We have choices.
You got choices every day, man.
Allowed to change who we are.
Doesn't mean that you can't every so often, like, yeah, you know what? I was dealt a pretty shitty hand. You're right, but we're going to play it the way we can. We're going to play it the best we can.
Yeah.
And use what we can and make changes, man. Everyone's got the equal opportunity to make changes, right? I'm not saying you have equal opportunity platform to start from. Some of us are way further behind, but we all can make progress. Every single one of us. I know it's hard. I never said it was easy.
So this is a really good way to measure this. Are you less focused on blaming and more focused on solutions? So it's the question I like to ask everybody. What are you going to do about it? And that's looking for a solution instead of the blame, because you're going to stay in that victim mindset for way too long. And you don't want to put that on your kids either. Like, show them, hey, this sucks. I probably came from crappy behavior, but guess what? I can do this. I get to do this. I get to change.
Yeah. Or if you've been with someone, let's say that, you watch someone over time, addiction slowly take over their life. And now you found yourself in this situation where you know what? It's not your fault. It's not your fault that you're in this situation. I know that you were trying to do the right thing and be loyal, but if this relationship has long since run its course, you have a decision that you could make here. You do have some autonomy here. You do have agency to make decisions that better your life and your children's lives. I'm not saying it's easy. Probably the hardest decision you have ever had to make, but there is a choice there. We've all got choices. People in addiction have choice too. You miss me with it's makes no sense.
I have no choice. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. We do have choices.
We have choice.
Fucking don't sit here and tell me we don't have a choice in the matter. We
do.
So
disempowering to say that.
It is. Like, it's the most, that's the worst thing you could tell me, honestly, is that I don't have a choice. Well, then what's the point?
Then what's the point? Yeah. And it's just like saying, oh, well, that's just how the family is. That's just how we are. That's just how we were raised. No, it doesn't have to be. Like, choices. Of course, that's how it was. We still get to change. We still have choices. So,
yeah, I just want you to know that to end all this, you were not broken. You are becoming. You are always in a state of transition and in a state of movement. Let's just make sure that we're moving in the right direction. Let's make sure we're living according to our values and what we actually want. Living authentic is nothing more than choosing the values that you aspire to and making a commitment to living close to those as possible. That's what it really boils down to. You are not your parents. You are not your past. You are not destined to repeat history. You are not destined for any outcome. You are destined depending on the choices and the decisions that you make today. I don't care what's happened. We can change these things. And we don't just change them for ourselves. That's where it starts. We change them for our children and their children and their children and their children. And maybe 3 generations removed, they will never know what you had to go through to make their lives different. But it'd be worth it. Every single bit of it will be worth it.
Yep,
and it starts with you. It starts today. It starts right fucking now. You can make changes right now that benefit not just you and your children, but generations from now. People that will never quite understand the sacrifices that were made, but damn it, the world's going to be better because of it. And it starts right here with you. And I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see the posts and the self-care and what people do with this episode. And you take it and you run with it and you tell us what you're doing and what you're changing and what you're working on. Can't wait to see the cycles that are broken.
Hell yes.
I just want you to know, first of all, that it's possible and it can be done. It's not easy,
And it's worth
but
it.
we're right there with you.
Yep.
Doing it with you. I'm learning with you. Paige is learning with you. Can't wait to see what you guys do. That's all we've got, right?
Yes.
After midnight here, the dog has told us it's time to go to bed. Give me the eyeball on the couch over there. We got some new art on the wall. I'll mention that. That's Blacksmith. BLCKSMTH on Instagram. Makes balloon art, but got a few of these. It's just these great quotes, and makes this cool art, makes it pop. I don't know if I'm going to keep these up or not.
I don't know. We might switch things around.
I had this cool idea whenever we get big enough. What I'd love to do is team up with a nonprofit, and I would love for people like sort of auction them off every week and give listeners or viewers a chance to buy them and then donate the money to some cause.
That's cool. You never told me this. Why am I just now hearing this?
I come up with all kinds of harebrained.
Did you just pull this out of your ass?
I come up with harebrained. No, I come up with harebrained ideas all the time. I just don't tell you about everyone.
I don't know what that means.
That's a term. I don't know what it means either.
I need to Google that now.
Yeah.
Can we go to bed?
But anyway, I thought it'd be cool. I'm not sure if I'll do that with these or anything because I actually like them.
No, I like these.
But I think it'd be cool to do if people sent us art or things like that. I would put it on the walls.
That's awesome.
Depending on what it is, of course. Like
I don't want a picture of a dick.
Don't photocopy your ass on a copy machine. Actually, I probably would put that up. YouTube wouldn't like it, but I would put it up. Our PO box is on our website if you ever wanted to send anything.
Is it?
I think so. Isn't it?
I need to put it up. I meant to put it up, but I don't know. No, stop it. Stop.
Not going to give it out over the air?
No, we're not. It'll be on our website though. I'll put it up tomorrow.
Okay. That's all we've got. I'm delusional at this point. I'm delirious and I'm tired. Thank you for joining us for this conversation. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for being a listener. Thank you for being a viewer.
Thank you for being you.
Seriously. I think that we'd probably be doing this even if no one listened, but it's a lot more fun with you guys. I'll just say that. So thanks for being here with us. Until next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
And we'll see you.
Bye.